Hello, my name is Annalie Martin, and today I will be demonstrating putting on PPE and donning and removing sterile gloves. I also will talk about isolation precautions. Okay, so the first thing that you're always going to want to do is wash your hands. So after I wash my hands, I am going to put on my gown. So you want to carefully put on your gown. Okay, now the next step is going to be to tie the top tie, and then you're going to tie the bottom tie securely. The gown will protect your uniform from any contaminants. Okay, so the next step is going to be putting on your mask. You're going to want to hold it on your face with the straps. You're going to want to secure that to your nose and just make sure that there's no air coming through. Okay, so next I will put on my goggles or my face shield. And then next I will put on my gloves. Now you are going to want to pull your gloves over, completely over the sleeve of your gown. In this case, it's a little difficult for me because my sleeves are kind of puffy, but you definitely do not want any exposed skin, and you want to make sure that that is completely covered. Okay, so now my next step is going to be taking this off. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is remove my gloves. So I'm going to take this and carefully pull this off and hold that in my hand. I'm going to slip my finger under and pull this off like so. And then I'm going to dispose of this. Okay. Next, I'm going to take off my gown, untie it here, and untie it here, here, and then I am going to wiggle my arms down, and generally the ties would be attached, so I wouldn't have to touch those, but I'm going to try to wiggle this down and be sure not to expose anything from the gown onto my body. And then being sure not to touch the exposed area of the gown, I am going to dispose of this. And then if you're wearing an N95 mask, you are going to want to wait until you leave the room, so you're going to still, of course, wash your hands. If you have a regular surgical mask, you're going to take that off and wash your hands with soap and water. And next I'm going to I'm going to go out of the room, take off my N95 since I have the N95 mask. So I'm going to take that off. So I did with the mask, I'm just going to show the correct way. So that's how we're not going to do it. We're not going to take it off like this because this area is contaminated. So we are going to take this off like so, being careful not to touch that part. And then, of course, I am going to wash my hands with soap and water, just like I did before. It's very important to always do that before and after. Now, in addition to the standard precautions like hand washing, wearing gloves, and especially if you're in contact with blood, you're going to wear gloves. There is also some isolation precautions. So the first thing that you want to do when you get to that room is check the sign, because that sign is going to tell you exactly what you need to do, exactly which isolation precautions you need to take. So for one, it may be airborne, which could be like chickenpox, TB, and measles, which in that case, you're going to want them in a negative air pressure room. You're going to want the door closed, and you are going to want to wear that N95. So that is, just in addition to all of those standard precautions, you're also going to want to do that. Now, with the airborne, they are, when the microorganisms are in the air, and anybody could easily come and breathe those in, so you are definitely going to want to keep that door closed. Now, with the droplet precautions, that is going to be a little bit different. That would be if they have rubella, mumps, or diphtheria. That are just some examples of that. So you're definitely going to want to have your PPE on when you enter. You're going to want to wear the surgical mask, and you're going to want to make sure that the visitors stay at least 3 feet away. And the door can be open in that case, since it is a little bit different than the airborne, and it's going to be more, it's going to affect more people who come in and touch things, or like since it is on surfaces and things that patient has touched, so somebody walking by will be unable to, should be unable to be affected by somebody who is on droplet precautions. And now the last thing is going to be the contact precautions. Now they can be direct or indirect. You are going to want anybody on contact precautions to be in their own room, and you are going to want to wear your PPE and make sure you remove that PPE before you leave. And now one thing I do believe I forgot with the droplet is if the patient does leave the room, you are going to want them to still wear a mask to protect themselves. Now some of the droplet precautions and the airborne precautions may also have contact precautions. So, just because it can be direct or indirect, and some of those, the droplet and airborne, involve that. So they may also have contact precautions as well. Thank you.